You just mentioned living lab. Actually, it was the first time that I heard like living lab, and it's a beautiful expression.
Sometimes the communities, they don't realize the opportunities that they already have in their own land and in their own territory.
What is the before and after picture like in the Galapagos?
Thinking in terms of a smart city is not only incorporating technology, it's also about a sustainable and resilient territories adapted to climate change, but also to the conflicts.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Talk Latin America. I am Diego Laje, CGTN anchor, and
I'm Michelle Marinho. I am the Latin America editor here in Washington, D.C.
And this time we talk to Analia Pastran, founder and CEO of InSmartly. Analia is a powerhouse in smart, inclusive city building with a global career, helping governments tackle climate, transport, and innovation challenges. She's the founder of InSmartly, as I said, and a voice for change at the United Nations. From Argentina to New York, she's shaping how cities grow greener, fairer, and future ready. Analia, great having you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me here. I'm delighted to be here today.
Let's start from the beginning. How are you saving the Galapagos?
Oh my gosh. You went just to the point. Well, it was a fantastic experience. This project was focused, because when we think about Galapagos, we think always in a natural, huge reserve, a world-class heritage, but not in the people, not in the inhabitants of the islands. And we have 3,000 inhabitants, individuals there that we need to improve their quality of living there. So for us, this project was focused on how these people live, what are the infrastructure, the buildings that are, what kind of comfort are they having there. So when we arrived, of course, it was the land of Darwin, the theory of evolution.
Turtles all over the place.
Giant turtles everywhere.
Do you make houses for turtles? Certainly not.
Well, yes, they have more rights than individuals there, because the buses, everything has to stop if they're crossing the street. So yeah, they are the privilege. They have them. But in terms of the inhabitants, what we observed that we chose 3 different buildings in 3 different islands. In Isabella Island, we pick a housing building, and Santa Cruz Island we pick a school, Galapagos school, and in the other one, San Cristobal, we chosen the hotel, a boutique hotel. And those living labs where we measure the temperature, the comfort in those buildings. And I said we measured, but it was a huge team with different partners.
People, how large? Give us an idea of the scale of trying to change the way the Galapagos Islanders build.
Exactly. Well, the project started in 2021, and it took us like 2 years and a half. And it was the French Cooperation Development Agency, the Spanish Cooperation Agency. It's a program called Euroclima Plus under the umbrella of the European Union. And also EVP Chile, Fundación Futuro Latinoamericano, InSmartly, a lot of Mentefactura, an international consortium of partners and experts on this topic. Architects, urban experts, and also some unique practice there was they hire also local architects the ones who really knows the materials of the island. And with them, they made an exchange with the international experts as well, bringing the capacity in terms of what are the new materials that they could adapt to these buildings. And I had the opportunity to visit in person the Santa Cruz Island, the school. And one of the anecdotes that really shocked me was when the architect said that the teachers mentioned that the students fall asleep during class because the heat, the tremendous, enormous temperatures inside the classroom. So they measured that, and also they made the transformations of the building. They put it cross ventilation, solar panels, more trees nearby the windows, and
Wood too.
more wood, exactly.
I saw a picture
Bamboo,
of the school,
exactly. Yeah,
and it was pretty beautiful actually.
yeah.
Because it's not just functional. Because I'm from Rio, and it's too hot, and I totally understand when students want to sleep after lunch because it's so hot. Well,
I shut it.
right now they have AC in schools in Rio, but when I was at school, we didn't have it, and I totally understand that.
Yeah.
So it's they think about not only the temperature. What else were they thinking about when they were preparing these smart schools?
Well, the project has a holistic approach because it was not only the infrastructure transformation, but also they work with the community, how they could improve their habits. For example, closing the door, doing some specific and normal activities every day that they could increase the cooling inside the building. So that was fantastic. Of course, in the beginning, communities are reluctant to this kind of projects, or it's difficult. But I think that in terms of that, communication is key. So they did a lot of workshops trying to sensibilize the community and to disseminate this new idea and this new approach. And also they work a lot with the local artisans, the local construction agents, they teach them about these new building construction methods and designings. And it was, in terms of, they have a lot of labels, how we could improve the approach.
Is this a living lab? Because you just mentioned living lab. But actually, it was the first time that I heard living lab, and it's a beautiful expression, a living lab.
Living lab is a smart city concept because when we choose specific buildings, we measure the before and after of the urban transformations and the designs that we made. And the architects who are the experts in this topic, they propose this kind of labs where you can see the transformation, but also how the inhabitants, the users, are readapting their ways there.
But what happens? What is the before and after picture like in the Galapagos, before and after the project?
For example, in this school, the building was 30% cooler than before the transformation. That's really a lot. So the students, they really wanted to be in that building so they fight to each other. I want to be in that classroom because it's really comfortable, And I think showing them that some little transformations using more bamboo, and they use also volcanic stones, some materials that they already have in the island. And I think that that's also important because they were used to import all the materials from the mainland, and that's a lot of pollution because you have to, in terms of logistics, carrying those materials to the island. So sometimes the communities, they don't realize the opportunities that they already have in their own land and in their own territory. And that's part of sometimes these projects that a lot of international experts and also trying to capture the knowledge and the capacity of the local community. I think that's key, and that's a smart city approach as well. I think that listening the community and their the knowledge that they have.
And it helps develop the space, right? Because the students are going to have better grades.
Yeah.
Because they want to go to school, if they want to be there, they're going to study more. Absolutely, right? So you change a lot of things. I mean, you're not changing just the temperature of the room.
Certainly.
You're changing their lives.
Yeah,
right.
certainly. And I think that was fantastic because usually the projects, international fundings were most focused in terms of natural reserve instead of the inhabitants. So I think that this project has this unique approach. And also we organize an Urban Thinkers Campus that is an activity that we do from the World Bank campaign of Young Habitat. And that experience that was also very interesting because experts came, an architect from Bangladesh, that he's a sustainable and famous architect, Ishtiaq Sahir, and he shared also his practices with the local architects from the Galapagos.
Wow. So how does the after picture look now? Are Galapagos inhabitants building their homes differently?
Absolutely. I think this project really...
Sorry, did you get to change the construction code in the island?
Yeah.
I know that's a long process. It's not easy, but did you?
Fortunately, yes. We did 3 ordinances in these 3 islands that are a good practice that showcase to the politicians, the local legislators and the municipalities there, how they could readapt their legislation. So the part of thank you for bringing this, because the normative and the regulation is it's a key part of this project, and the working with the city council, and in terms of having these new ordinances, it was a specific outcome that came from this project. And now we have that experience not only for the Galapagos, also with those territories that have similarities, that are islands in Central America that could readapt and this model.
I want to go into Scenario Lab, but I want to make sure that you have no more questions on Galapagos because...
No, I have questions about, I want to incorporate smart cities in my neighborhood and my house. So I want some suggestions and some tips. But you go ahead.
Well, Scenario Lab is where you plan the stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where you role play and plan the stuff. So could you talk to us just what it is and then how we can use it to improve Michelle's house?
Well, yeah, of course. Scenario Lab 2050 is, it's a model especially for municipalities, universities in Latin America, that they would like to use AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, and other platforms, where they could think in future scenarios and how their problems and solutions could be readapt. And using AI is it's challenging in the region because as you know, in most of the places they don't have a good Wi-Fi or connection, so it's quite challenging. But we had a wonderful experience using WhatsApp in 8 years ago with a local legislator in Salta, and she was Salta, Argentina, right? So sometimes these trends, technologies like AI, for the region and for different levels of in terms of developing public policies and also in terms of universities are key. So now we are starting this in Mexico, in Quintana Roo, and we are having some conversations with some municipalities from there.
And
what can I do at home to?
Well, I think that
using ChatGPT improve my home.
Yeah.
That's what we want to know.
But I think that if you thinking and clear prompts and sharing. For example, you have to give him or her the chat good prompts in terms of what are the improvements that you really want to your life is in your house. For example, it's in terms of ventilation, it's in terms of cooling, it's in terms of heating. So I think giving the right questions is the element, and that's why we developed this methodology. It's a Socratic methodology that we are readapting to this century, 21st, because doing the right questions to the ChatGPT or Gemini, to the AI, is the element nowadays. And we observe that a lot of people are struggling to do the right questions, and we develop this method. So I'm going to invite you personally to join us, so you can do it by yourself.
And we also spoke about exporting your Galapagos model, combining it with your use of AI and leveraging all this for environmental protection in other parts of Latin America, specifically in the Caribbean, in the Mexican Caribbean. Please, what is that about? How are you adapting what you learned from the islands in Ecuador to Mexico?
Well, it was also part of this project, the replica part, where it was elaborated a kind of, a series of indicators measuring the same levels of, the same features of the islands in the Galapagos with other islands in Central America. And we chose in the Isla Mujeres, Holbox, and Cozumel in Quintana Roo in Mexico, and also Isla San Andres in Colombia. Because the project has the outcome to select only 4 territories for the replica.
And I'm borrowing a question from Michelle. I'm sorry, but the question is yours. How do you choose the places, the locations?
For example, if they were island territories, the quantity of inhabitants there, if they have already some ordinances or legislation and sustainable construction, some practices in greener construction, and I'm summarizing these indicators because it was a huge list, but in based on that, and also if we're territories with good levels of security and safety, because also these practices needs that. And
so you need safety to be environmentally friendly.
Absolutely, we need peaceful communities to be sustainable. Because I think thinking in terms of a smart city is not only incorporating technology, it's also about a sustainable and resilient territories adapted to climate change, but also to the conflicts. Nowadays, we have not only climate change, we have pandemics that are evolving in different ways, different kind of conflicts. So cities have to think in this 360 view in terms of what are the crises that they have to adapt and solve those issues.
Is there a place in Latin America that you would like to work and it's just like a dream to transform that place?
Oh, I never thought that. But I think perhaps Brazil. I think that really, I think it's unique, the Amazonia, and there are a lot of projects in this topic and sustainability, and I think having this place that has a lot of natural resources it could be key. I would love to.
Unfortunately, we have run out of time.
Really?
In this episode of Talk Latin America. So Analia Pastran, founder, CEO of InSmartly, thank you very much. Great having you.
Thank you. Thank you for this experience, and I'm delighted to share this and also something that sometimes when we think on smart cities, we think in these huge countries with a lot of resources, and the region is showing that local capacity and willingness to improve their quality of life.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining this episode of Talk Latin America. She is Michelle Marinho, the Latin America top voice expert and #1 person in CGTN, and I am
Diego Laje.
Thank you very much. See you next time.